going to ask an easy question today. Which end of the rod of iron do you want to be on? So really there's two choices. Do you want to be on the ruling end of the rod of iron or on the receiving end of the rod of iron? This is from Psalm 2. Listen, we're going to get there today at the end. Psalm 2, why do the nations rage and the peoples plot in vain? The kings of the earth set themselves, and the rulers take counsel together against the Lord and against his anointed, capital A anointed, saying, let us burst their bonds apart and cast away their cords from us. So let me pause there. That's at verse 3 of Psalm 2. Do the nations really rage and plot and set themselves up individually and collectively against the Lord? Yep. Are there some that set themselves in fighting position against the Lord and against his anointed? Yep. Are there some that wish to be free from the cords of duty and the cords of devotion that are due to the Lord and his anointed? Yep. So this is a psalm founded on rebellion. That's the basis of it, to the reign and the regent of David's throne. Remember, anointed means Messiah in Hebrew. It's the transliteration of the word. And anointed means Christ in Greek. So anointed, Messiah, and Christ are pretty much synonyms here. So this is a messianic psalm. So anointed in the psalm, as I pointed out for those of you who are just listening, anointed is capitalized by the translators with intent that this psalm refers to Jesus as an occupier of David's throne. And to rebel against the anointed is to rebel against the Lord that established and put him there in his great process. So this is why Jesus teaches in John chapter 15, verse 23, whoever hates me hates my Father also. So there's no daylight between the Father and Son, eventually the Spirit that's going to be revealed. And your attitude towards one reveals what attitude you have towards all three of them. All right, let's get back to the psalm. Verse 4 now. He who sits in the heavens laughs. The Lord holds them in derision. Then he will speak to them in his wrath and terrify them in his fury, saying, as for me, I have set my king on Zion, my holy hill. So this paragraph talks about revolt resulting in wrath. So God surely has a sense of humor and laughs. And I imagine there's going to be plenty of laughter in heaven, just like there is on Thanksgiving Day. But this does not seem to be that kind of anger. This isn't chuckling kind of humor. This is, I don't think so. It's in this context of you're powerless. You have no ability to stand against the rule and the reign of the kingdom of God. And to attempt otherwise is laughable. That's the kind of laughter we're talking about. So righteous wrath must go forth against such rebellion. And the Lord is going to hold people accountable, in derision as it says here, for choosing the wrong end of the rod. We're getting to that. So fury correctly follows foolishness of this posture. So this paragraph is all about the wrong end of the rod of iron. So though the wicked have their day and may prosper for a time, in the end, God is not mocked and God has the last laugh. Okay, verse 7 from Psalm 2. I will tell of the decree. The Lord said to me, you are my son, capital S. Today I have begotten you. Now to figure this out, let's go to Acts chapter 13. Now Paul is at a synagogue on the Sabbath in Antioch in Pisidia, and he explains how Jesus now occupies the throne of David by referring directly and quoting directly our psalm that we're doing today in Psalm 2. So Paul makes this argument for Jesus. This is verse 30 of Acts 13. But God raised him from the dead, talking about Jesus. And for many days he appeared to those who had come up with him from Galilee to Jerusalem, who are now his witnesses to the people. And we bring you the good news that what God promised to the fathers, this he has fulfilled to us, their children, by raising Jesus. Also, as it is written in the second psalm, now here we're going to quote what we're doing today. You are my son, today I have begotten you. So let's pause here. Let's not let this go unnoticed. The New Testament refers to and quotes and gives the correct interpretation of an Old Testament truth. So the New Testament sometimes clarifies what is a little unclear in the Old Testament. And here it claims that Jesus is God. Here it claims that Jesus fulfills the promise made to David that one of his heirs, literally from his human lineage, will occupy the Davidic throne forever. And from that throne will come unassailable dominion for all times. That is Jesus occupying on that throne. And those who oppose it will be overruled. They will be on the wrong end of the rod of iron. So last two verses, at least for today, we're going to do a little bit more tomorrow. Ask of me, and I will make your nations your heritage, and the ends of the earth your possession. You shall break them with a rod of iron and dash them to pieces like a potter's vessel. So Christ will rule over all nations and for all people for all time and even eternity. The question is, which end of the rod of iron do you want to be on? Are you ready and willing, and do you want to be on the winning team, or do you choose to be that rebellious piece of pottery when the proverbial bull in the china shop comes to dash all that stand against him in mutiny? The fury will follow such foolishness. So are you interested in following the ruling King Jesus? Choose Jesus. Choose the Jesus end of the rod of iron. Choose the I'm with him end, not the end of ruin. Come back for a little bit more from Psalm 2 tomorrow. Thanks for listening.